Which member left a demanding corporate career and moved to another continent to spend more time with family? Find out by going to www.bookinterrupted.com/members and get to know us a little more.
Parental guidance is recommended because this episode has mature topics and strong language. Here are some moments you can look forward to during this episode of Book Interrupted.
No, we're not.
You
experts,
might be more.
But she said we should use research and critical thinking skills.
Even if that was true. He's like, he's a liar. Oh, okay. Is he?
It felt violent. I was just like, actually, I was like, that's not true on any level.
And behind it is hidden like one piece of chocolate. He's like, why? I was like, because I knew if you saw it, you would finish it.
Most people don't want to sit down for 4 hours and listen to a single podcast.
But it was me who accused her of hating country
I need for understanding.
Mind, body, and soul. The information is the goal. Try to learn something new without being distracted. Mind, body, and soul. Information is the goal. Try to learn something new without being disrupted. Mind, body, and soul. Inspiration is the goal. Interrupted.
Welcome to Book Interrupted, a book club for busy people to connect and one that celebrates life's interruptions. If you'd like to join along, this book cycle is from June 20th to July 25th. It's Meredith's book pick, and we're reading Nonviolent Communication by Marshall B. Rosenberg. Nonviolent communication illustrates how to use language to strengthen your relationships, build trust, prevent conflict, and heal. Let's listen in to this episode's group discussion. Welcome to the fan episode. In this episode, we're going to discuss what the fans thought of nonviolent communication. What we're doing for this fan episode that we haven't done in the other ones is, so we're getting fans listening to our episodes after the book cycle. So they're not like necessarily up to date on the episodes. So they're commenting on books that we are not currently talking about. So they're missing interacting with us when it comes to the fan episode. So what we're doing now is we're going to discuss whatever fan feedback or comments have happened during that book cycle, but it might not necessarily be about nonviolent communication.
Wonderful.
I like this more. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. So on YouTube, we got quite a bit actually on YouTube recently. Untamed, apologizing and making mistakes, inside truth versus outside advice from episode 4 of Untamed. Someone just gave us like a thumbs up, so I thought it would be nice to give you guys encouragement. She put, great content. Keep up the good work. And that was like from a really previous book. And that was just recently. So that was nice. One that we can kind of go back and forth on. And what made me change this rule is on White Fragility, the episode 6 fan episode, someone wrote us, my constructive criticism is that your book review would be more insightful if you use more research and critical thinking skills in your discussion. What similarities does the book White Fragility have with critical race theory? What are the differences? Robin DiAngelo got a lot of flack for holding space in the Black movement. Should we be giving more space to Black authors? Can the opinions in this work be seen as an example of a kafta trap? Why or why not? How could generalizations and class differences apply to the opinions in this work? So I obviously was like, I wish we could have had your comment before we did that episode, because she was commenting on the fan episode. And when I responded to her, I was saying how we didn't really get that much feedback during White Fragility. So we didn't have a lot of fan information to go on during that episode. And then I told her how we have, 5 other episodes, whatever, and she returned back. And so I thought we could discuss her comment, but she also said, she said thank you for her response, the response I gave her, and that she gives me permission to talk about her comment on our next fan episode. I was willing to. And she would like us to see us read Nice Racism when it comes out.
Which is also a Robin DiAngelo, her new book, right?
Her new book, yeah.
When your response, you kind of said like, we're not really necessarily that kind of podcast, but that also we did touch on some of these topics in other episodes. And so I think sometimes when people just listen to one episode of our program, they might think, oh, that's all we had to say on the book. But not everybody knows that we're doing, 6 episodes on one book. So even if you're listening to one, you might be like, oh, okay, great. let me listen to the others and then I'll kind of get the full viewpoint. But it was really
Yeah.
nice. She commented.
Can somebody tell me what a kafta trap is?
A good example would be if you say to somebody like, you always disagree. And then that person goes, no, I don't.
No, I don't. Yeah.
Right. And
Okay.
that's like that, right? So in this case, it would be like, I'm saying I'm not racist, but because I'm racist, a racist would say they're not racist, or like something along those lines, right? So it kind of is, but who cares? It's a trap. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just a thing that can be true as well as not remove any value from the conversation or the topic. And as far as her critical race theory statement, I think that this book is written from that standpoint. Like, I think it's rooted in critical race theory, the whole anti-racist movement.
Yeah, I told her we talked about some of the things like, we have a whole episode about Robin being a white author. And that's right. I said that we're not experts. I said something like, if you listen to the other episodes or any of the other books, you notice that we aren't experts on any of the topics or professional reviewers. We're a book club for busy people to connect and one that celebrates life interruptions. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We leave that to the experts. It's about connection, especially with those who don't have time to commit to an actual book club. And so that's what I let her know. Yeah. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting. And I invited her to submit a fan book if she wants to do join us if you'd like. And She said, thank you. And then she doesn't normally comment on YouTube, but, she happens to know about this topic. And anyway,
good.
That was really good. Yeah, it was a really good interaction.
I also think that we are critical thinkers. Like, I don't think that we're...
No, I know, but we're not experts. But yeah.
No, we're not
you
experts,
might be more.
But she said we should use research and critical thinking skills.
But
and
remember, she's only listening to the one episode, right? She's only listening to the one you were at in depth yet.
Oh, which episode did she listen to?
Fan.
Oh, just the fan.
Number
episode.
6.
Yeah, so that's why it was
Mm.
a really good interaction because, she brought up subjects that we had already talked about. And because we talked about so many things on each book, it does really have to be separated out to fit onto a podcast. Most people don't want to sit down for 4 hours and listen to a single podcast.
I also think kudos to her for because some of the comments we get are just what an asswipe, right?
Yeah, she was really constructive.
And here's someone who you can tell she actually took a moment to think through what she wants to share. And in the best way possible, she wasn't just giving us praise. She was also offering some really helpful criticism, other perspectives, but she was very thoughtful in her delivery. It wasn't personal attacky. If only all her comments were so wonderful. She did, 2 thumbs up.
I don't mind just getting praise. That's fine too.
Oh, yeah.
One other person put a comment on White Fragility episode 4, and they just were kind of bad-mouthing Desmond Cole. Being by the way, Desmond Cole revised his figure down to 10 to 12, including times he's been stopped by the police. And it's what?
Oh, yeah, I read that.
1 is too much. One is not good either.
10 to 12 is pretty big too. Even if that was true, he's a liar. Oh, okay. Is he a liar?
Yeah, Sapiens gossip at its best.
Yeah, or he thought about it more and he publicly revised his statement. Or he did a lot of effort and thought and went public with it. Yeah.
Anyway, I really like Desmond Cole, so I was
it's funny because how YouTube, it changes your feed based on if you slow down to look at a video, even just to look at the screen of the video, or I think that's one of the things it does, or what you watch. So how are these people finding your videos if they're not interested in the subject?
I
They
should
must
let
have
you
watched
know.
them a lot, right?
Oh, good one, Mare.
We had way more people coming to our YouTube channel because they were looking up Robin DiAngelo.
Oh.
Yeah. So it brought people to our, Robin DiAngelo was our number one.
But somebody who's angry about Desmond Cole, are they searching for Robin DiAngelo? Or maybe they're looking up that gossip about Desmond Cole. They really have something against them.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Desmond Cole wasn't, but it said our search word, Robin DiAngelo was our number one search word to brought people to our station in the last quarter. So
for nonviolent communication, what should we have as a hot buzzword that we just somehow have to put in the description of the episode because...
Yeah, who's going to search for that?
What's so salacious?
Brad Pitt. No, I'm just joking. That's not even a...
Yeah, Brad Pitt
Justin Bieber.
And Angelina Jolie.
And Justin Bieber.
Book at the same time. with Justin Bieber and the book club. It's true.
True story right there.
Yeah.
Headlines.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go to a comment that was actually about nonviolent communication because all the rest of the comments have to do with our blog, actually. So, but we got on the our Facebook book club group. I put the funny, I'm not sure if you guys watched it or not, but the Wednesday funny was the Baroness von Sketchko show when they were like, hey, you doing okay? When the lady just decided to get ice cream. She was at a bookshop and she came home back from her break and had some ice cream and everyone's like, oh, you have ice cream. She's like, yeah, ice cream. And she's like, are you doing okay? Do you need to have a moment? Sometimes I like to self-soothe and like everyone in the bookstore was like, oh, you're having
What
ice
happened?
Yeah. And someone on our book club wrote projection at its worst. And I feel like that does happen when people think you're like down. They're like everyone like, and you're like, no, I'm not
Love
sad.
ice cream.
Yeah.
I wanted an ice cream. Like, thank you for that. But I think at the same time, it's
someone
nice.
recently.
Did you?
I didn't confront them, but I was before this last shutdown in Ontario, I was tattooing someone and like someone was walking around out front of the shop, like eating a bag of chips, but like a full-size bag of chips, which at home I do probably weekly, like whatever. But in public felt so brazen. So it felt so like, what?
Have you no shame?
Like no, with no shame, just walking, eating chips, like waiting for an appointment. I don't know what the fuck they were doing. I wanted to know more. I could hardly concentrate on my work. I was like, who eats full bags of chips in public? Shamelessly. They did not look like they had maybe like they weren't abusively abusing their body with food in any way. There was abusing their body with food in any way. There was just a perfectly healthy.
Was it a lot, like a very fast eating or just like a casual eating?
It was very casual.
Yeah.
It was the most like, I was like, when I grow up, I want to be that person. It was incredible. Just like no food issues there at all.
That's someone enjoying the journey. They're enjoying the journey of life.
That might be the first person in history who has no food issues in North America.
That person right there. But I love that you were probably like coming up with a whole story about,
like,
and then I bet this happened, and then they went to Shoppers.
I'm actually really upset to eat a bag of chips in public like that.
Yeah, but maybe they got a big bag because it was cheaper to get the big bag, and they're not going to eat the whole big bag. They're only going to have a few bites.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. And at home, I eat that in front of a TV fucking every week, for sure. But it was wild.
But we're all trying to justify, like maybe they just wanted a bag of chips.
Love chips. They're just like, I feel like eating a bag of chips.
And they're living their dream.
They're living the dream. There's no
I
production needed.
sense a book interrupted challenge. You have to eat something decadent
like
in
anybody who
public.
worked with
This is a
him,
challenge
are
I
you
can do.
surrounded by
I like
many
it.
people at work? You have to pack your lunch one day and it's just a bag of chips. Like
No problem.
Or like, I know what mine's gonna
Oh
be
my God,
for the
I know
challenge.
what mine is too. Just
Okay.
mounds of mashed potatoes. Like just only mashed potatoes.
You and your mashed potatoes.
Yes. And it's nowhere close to like a holiday, so it doesn't
Right?
make any sense.
And I'll I want to bring the gravy like a separate
In a
A gravy boat.
thing. Yes.
You need a gravy boat and then
need
you
a
pour the
gravy boat.
gravy in and then pour
Yes.
it on.
And I just want to eat it in the lunchroom, just all casual. Just
I think
all
it should be a gravy boat that you only add one scoop of mashed potatoes to.
Oh.
So it's like, and then
Oh,
you eat
it's
with a
soup.
spoon like
It's a
soup.
potato. It's a gravy soup.
Yes. Monday can't come soon enough.
Well, you got work to do tonight. You gotta start
Yeah.
cooking.
You gotta mash some potatoes.
You gotta get to the store.
You gotta find a gravy boat.
So
Yeah, so everyone,
So
you need to do
delicate.
something decadent and eat it somewhere where people will be like,
I'm gonna do the chips. I'm gonna go classic bag of
Yeah.
chips in
okay,
public.
classic bag of chips.
Okay, I have something to admit. I just recently bought a big bag of chips, and it was for Laird and I.
It was you.
But it was cheaper than buying the little bag, and I was like, okay, I'll grab it. So I was walking around to get to Laird, and I opened the bag and started eating it to get to him. But
Sure, but where were you?
near the office and near the theater. But I mean, there's not a lot of people around.
Yeah. Did it have the same vibe? Did it feel like, Or did you not think twice? Was it you?
Maybe.
Were you walking around?
No, I didn't feel weird about it, but now maybe I should have felt weird about it.
I don't know why I think it's so weird. I was like proud of them. I was like, yeah, you eat those fucking chips midday. Fuck yeah.
You're like living vicariously through them.
Yeah, but I wasn't pacing in front of a tattoo shop, so.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess, yeah. I'm just like, I don't know. It really wrecked that tattoo. No, I'm fucking around.
All of a sudden, it's a potato chip.
No, we both were like locked into this situation. We're like, I wonder what's going on with her.
Yeah, she comes out with a tattooed bag of potato chips instead of what she wanted.
Oh wow!
You're like, oops, sorry, I got distracted.
And what are you gonna eat as your random food of choice in a public
Me?
venue? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was excited to eat a bag of chips.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do chips.
I'll have that shit for dinner.
Yeah.
Right? I don't
Yeah.
even know. It says a lot about me that really like threw me. Like it's not that weird when you think about it.
I feel shame when I finish my bag of chips.
I know.
Oh, I never fully shit.
And I understand you being like, how could you buy a big one? Because if you buy a big one, you must finish it. Right? There's no closing the bag of chips for another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
They have these things called clips. No, thank you.
You guys don't
What is that
purposely
for?
leave like a few remnants. That's my go-to.
Oh, yeah.
I'll leave.
I do.
Like, yeah,
Wow.
just so I can
You're
honestly. Yeah, I didn't finish all of them.
Oh no, I like it because then if I crave it later, I'm like, oh well, now I need some more. So Laird hates it. I leave like 6 of them in the bottom of the bag, and he's like, just finish it. I was like, no, because I might need it tomorrow, and I want one chip.
When we lived together, I was like, I don't understand. She would I'd open the cupboard and there'd be like the tiniest piece of chocolate just sitting there for like a week. I'm like, I don't know why she doesn't finish the little piece of chocolate. It's making me insane. Just eat it, or I'm gonna eat it.
This comes down to like there's like that like this is a blanket statement. Like there's 2 kinds of people in the world. Like this is one of those. This is like you either finish the bag of chips or you leave 6. This is a classic type of person, and I love
Totally.
that. Like I love those kinds of things.
Okay, so let's do a vote. Who are the ones out of the 6 of us that fully complete? Raise your hand.
Fully complete what?
A bag
Like
of
the
chips.
bag of
Then you eat it.
chips, or the
Or a chocolate bar,
cookies, or the
I
chocolate bar.
can't not.
Okay, no. And
There
who
might
are
be
the
3
ones?
types of people in the world.
Lindsay and I will save a little bit because I do the saving a little bit.
I say.
Yeah.
I do like pour the crumbs of the corner
Yeah,
of the
I
bag
pour
of chips
crumbs.
into
No.
my mouth.
Yeah.
For my kids, I save. But if it's for me, no. If it's open, why are we saving this? What are we saving this for?
Yeah.
For when you
No,
want
I
it.
take a
Leave
really
it,
long time.
I can leave it in the cupboard and not open it for a long time. But if it's
Same.
open,
If it's open,
it's consumed. Like, why am I saving this for? So it can be less delicious next time I go to eat some?
So I don't have enough next time I go to eat them?
It's
See,
like
they-
the far other side though. I'll have like a bowl of like a small bowl of or 10 or a handful, and then I roll it up and I put it away. I'm like, ooh, I get to enjoy this all week. Right? Like that's how I do chocolate bars. I'll take a little square, I'll stick it back in the cupboard, I eat that
I know,
square, and then I
Lindsay
have
too.
that side square tomorrow and the next day. And I can be like, oh, time for my piece of chocolate or whatever. Yeah, sometimes I never finish the chips if I wait too long.
Yeah,
It's
it feels
torturous
messy. I
for
gotta
someone
clean
that's
up.
not like that, though. For me, I'm like, still chocolate in there.
Yeah.
Damn it, she still hasn't eaten it yet. Like, I would check on it. I'd be like,
And
I'm like, I should just get myself a whole bar. And I'd like eat a whole bar of chocolate.
You gotta eat the whole bar.
it's still there, the one piece.
And hers is still there.
I'll leave half a bar. I'll leave it in regular intervals. Like I'll leave half a bag of chips, but I'm not gonna leave 6 chips. I'm not gonna leave 2 squares of chocolate. I've committed to that.
I have to hide it sometimes too, because Laird likes to finish things
yeah.
too. So I'll all of a sudden he'll be like grabbing, I don't know, flour or something from the cupboard, and behind it is hidden like one piece of chocolate. He's like, why? I was like, because I knew if you saw it, you would finish it.
Yeah.
Like, that's for me.
Yeah.
That.
Like, are you
Like
even
hoarding
tasting
it.
it? Yeah,
Yeah.
like my husband eats things so fast, it's hard to share a bag of chips with them. So I'll be like, look, this is your bowl. This is mine. So I'll be like slowly savoring it. And his will be gone. I'll be like, did you
Yeah,
taste
but then
it?
he goes into yours, doesn't he? He's
No,
like, I want more.
He knows better.
Oh. Okay, we're really not talking about fan things, are we? We're just
No, okay,
talking
I'll
about
get back to
YouTube.
the fan thing.
That was a
What
good
do you
funny,
think?
These are
Sarah.
so interesting, though.
I know.
This interruption is brought to you by Unpublished. Do you want to know more about the members in Book Interrupted? Go behind the scenes? Visit our website at www.bookinterrupted.com.
Book interrupted.
All right, so my interruption is the Nonviolent Communication playlist on Spotify. So I edit all of our audio on my computer, and I have a whole bunch of editing to do, and I clearly can't do it at the same time as listening to Spotify on my computer. So I keep on trying to do other things so I can continue listening to it. So my interruption that keeps on delaying me from actually getting to editing work is the Nonviolent Communication playlist. I just think it's great. There's such a mix of songs like that I wouldn't have thought of putting on there. Anyway, so there you go. There's my interruption.
Book interrupted.
Oh, and we have another Untamed one for Leah's artwork, her Untamed artwork. Yeah, there was a mail that said, because on the Untamed artwork, I said about, gender roles and that kind of thing, like expectations, that kind of thing, social norms. And he put, it's very interesting discussion. I'm a stay-at-home homeschooler dad, and I find myself on the other side of societal preconditioning. It is interesting when I am asked what I do, and I say I take care of my children in my house. I also happen to have a medical engineering degree and at times do it on the side, but it humors me to hear people's responses at times. And then Mare actually responded, because I'm like, oh, Mare, you're a stay-at-home mom and you're a chemical engineer. Like, do you, anyway, she responded to him.
I love it. Like, I'll fill out when you fill out forms, oftentimes it'll say occupation. Mm-hmm. And like when I sign up the kids for school or whatever, I put homemaker. It just makes me like, yeah. Because sometimes when you tell people in a group, oh, I'm a homemaker, some people respond with like support and others respond with judgment, I would say. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people will treat you differently.
There should be like another word for it. That's not like a stay-at-home parent. It's not homemaker. Homemaker sounds very.
It's so 1950s, right? That's why I love that. It's like homemaker.
But we should come up with a new job title for that.
Sometimes I just put unemployed. Unemployed.
That's true.
That's what I would do. Yeah.
I would. That's the thing. They're fucking lucky. I don't have to go to work every day.
But that's the thing. If I don't feel embarrassed to put unemployed, that's how you slowly change stigma, because there's a lot of judgment around that. I guess is
well, you're kind of employed.
I am. Well, now I am. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But you have.
But no, you're employed even when you're taking care of your children. Like.
But I guess we'd have to look at what the definitions of employed mean. Does it mean, is there a financial transaction to be?
I mean, that's where the judgment comes from, where some people value somebody who's bringing home a paycheck more than somebody who's working equally as hard or harder and not bringing home money. So that's just the whole capitalist consumerism, like money is God type thing.
Yeah, we need a new word. Let's think about that.
I've been trying to since especially since talking to you guys about it. Now when I, instead of asking someone what they do, because then sometimes I'll be like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, but if you stay at home with your kids, that's okay too. And I have this whole big thing. I was like, I got to work on the way that I say it, being like, I'm not judging you. If you don't work, that's okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to say it that makes it sound like
tell me about yourself.
Yeah. Cause what do you do? Like, it's like, because I need to know so I can figure out how much I value you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you do?
That's not, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's I think that's the preconditioning in our language, right? What do you do instead of
how do you do?
Yeah. Who are you? Or what did you say, Mare, again?
Tell me about yourself.
Tell me about yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Tell me about yourself.
That's nice.
How do you spend your time? Yeah, or how do you spend your time? Or
but like, what are you into? So what are you into?
How do you spend your time?
What are you
Tell
into?
me.
I once asked somebody, I was like, so what are you passionate about? And they gave me this kind of like blank stare, just kind of like, I don't know. I go, oh.
It's a bit too intense for that level of conversation.
I know. And I was like, oh, that might be too intense.
Yeah, you're like, well, that's aggressive. Yeah.
Yeah. They're just like, back away.
Yeah, I think I would go like, what are you into?
Yeah.
And they'd be like, well, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't know. What do you do with your time?
Yeah, that's better. I think tell me about yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That
might be good.
Because I have to small talk a ton. And I'm always asked, what do you do?
Maybe we should give you a list of different phrases to try. You can tell us how
Just
they
like
work out.
Nonviolent communication has a lot of lists about emotions that aren't really emotions, which is so hard. Yeah. Those emotions. I like to use a lot of words for things that aren't emotions.
I was thinking a little bit about how, like, the storytelling part of it, where it's like storytelling is supposed to be violent. I think maybe only if somebody's trying to connect with you and tell you what they need, because like storytelling is such a foundation of like human experience, but it's in the list of different ways that we communicate violently.
Oh,
Yeah, and I don't agree with that. That's true. I don't agree with that.
I think what he's trying to say that is if somebody's trying to tell you something and try to connect with you and convey a feeling or a need, and then you say, I've got a good story about that, then it takes the spotlight from them onto you, and then that conversation's over. But in everyday life, storytelling is one of the ways that we connect with each other. Like if you get together with a friend, you'd be like, so what have you been up to? They're going to start by telling you a series of stories about their life. Right?
That's
Yeah,
what I
I like
remember.
that
Like one of the
communication.
things when I was in the business world that I would get feedback from other customers and stuff like that is I always remembered their story. You know, I haven't seen them in 15 years. I'm like, oh my gosh, how did your daughter do with this? And they're like, how did you remember? Like, because it's a story. Like I think that's right. Like that's how you connect with people. You remember their stories because that's what brings real connection. Not like, oh, remember we made that deal? Like I could never remember any of that crap. But I would remember their personal stories. I think, story is important for real connection. Yeah.
And I can understand the idea about like sometimes, especially if you're really in an emotional state and it feels like someone's not in it with you because they're making it about them. Which I agree, that's probably the point he was trying to make. But sometimes it's nice if you're in the right setting or the right person to be able to bounce in and out of what you're upset about, because otherwise you'll just spin in it. Like if you don't
is the story you're telling yourself like that. I liked hearing your interpretation, Meredith, because I took it a different way. I was like, how could storytelling fit into this way that the author's trying to explain it? And I was like, oh, if we're not checking ourselves and we are perceiving our current reality based on the filter that we're looking through of the story that's going on in our heads. Do you get what I mean? Because sometimes that can get violent. Like a few weeks ago, someone said to me like, well, you know, because you're just all into being like upper middle class. You don't care for those country bumpkins. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, nope, that's not it at all. And then I listened. I was like, oh my gosh, that's that person's story is on replay in their head right now. And it's blocking their ability to express their need because they're trapped in the story. That's how I took it. But I don't know. I like your interpretation, Mary. Yeah.
Maybe both though, right? Like,
Well, because I could see how that could be violent for you to hear someone else's story about you that's not accurate as far as you're concerned.
Yeah, I would say that is violent. Yeah, a violent communication.
It felt violent. I was just like, actually, I was like, that's not true on any level. And then when I started to think about the person and really listen more and pay attention to how they were making meaning out of our experience, I was like, oh, this has ignited an older, story around. It had everything to do with that person. But it does, if you don't check yourself, it comes out as a violent, like projectile vomit.
Did you clarify? No, I was just going to ask Kara if she clarified with the person. Like, did you say, no, that's not me? And like
NVC
through it?
Oh, I absolutely did. But I also recognized, I was like, I don't think this person is in a listening state. So I still stayed empowered and didn't absorb because I could very quickly do that and just be like, okay, whatever you say. You know, but then I was like, no, I can retort. I don't have to be violent in my retort. I can say, I see that is your interpretation, but that's not my truth. And then I just did the waiting until time had passed and did a circle back. But I don't know if that was me being conflict avoidant or me just calling it and realizing this person isn't in a listening mood.
I think it goes back to what Kim was saying before, that when you have a conversation and you're trying to have nonviolent communication with someone, you can't be responsible for their feelings because they bring a whole bunch of history and baggage and storytelling and with them into the conversation. So you can't necessarily be responsible for their feelings. You can just say your truth.
We should nonviolent communication it. So like,
Sounds like you
what
did.
would you say?
Jeff.
You say, you just classified me incorrectly. My need to be seen for who I actually am is not being met. Could you please take more time to know me? Is that a pass? Is that how you do it?
Well, I didn't choose to do it.
No, you didn't do
I
it.
know, but
let's all
try.
talk about how you could.
What I realized was I was like, oh, I think I was able to identify the other person's need.
But
know, but
they
can you
said in the
be
book
partial?
you can't do it with someone who's not participating in nonviolent communication. Nonviolent communication only works when the other person, like you've set up a scenario, is like, we're going to work this out.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not saying it like to correct Kara's actual reality. I'm just saying it for fun. Let's all see if we can do nonviolent communication in this circumstance.
I think
Oh
you
my
missed
God.
the feeling. I feel. think you have to.
Oh
add
yeah,
the
I feel. Yeah.
So I think
I feel
represented?
Is it tap the feeling? No,
I think don't you have to first say what happened?
Oh yeah, you're not feeling that.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say what happened.
Okay,
Oh, this is so weird. I even feel uncomfortable in a pretend role play scenario because I was like, I have to identify a need. I was like, oh God, what was my need?
you feel hurt.
Yeah, I feel hurt. I feel like you don't.
No, you don't feel like you did.
No,
you don't feel like you. You said something
because
like
I feel unseen.
My
What's
need
your feeling for
for-
unseen?
Yeah, your need
Misunderstood.
for connection isn't met.
my need for understanding.
Yes,
understanding. Yeah.
Isn't
So
met.
let's say when you
say I don't like country bumpkins or whatever he said.
yeah,
like
when
just
you
literally
say
restate.
that I don't care about country bumpkins, I feel hurt.
You said
Okay.
he, but it was me who accused her of hating country
My need
bumpkins.
for understanding.
I am the culprit of the bumpkins.
Do they really use country bumpkins?
Isn't it? Oh
Is
yeah.
that actually, okay.
Oh, for sure.
The bumpkin basher.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's your new nickname.
Yeah. So thanks for helping me do that. Actually, that was so. Yeah, because it's so
super
easy
hard to do that.
to
in
not
practical
do.
when you-
I was
And
like,
in the moment, we're trying to do it like how, like all of us, like maybe your
Collaboratively,
need
and we
is.
still
Could you
haven't really accomplished it.
No. Can you imagine? You're in the situation. You're like, just a second.
okay.
My feelings.
And then like, no. Okay.
My feelings
Stop
are.
attacking me. 1 minute.
Wait a minute. What is my need? Hold on. I just have to figure what my need is.
Let me find the book.
Connection.
known myself to be a bumpkin lover.
Yeah.
I'm all up in a
understanding.
bumpkin all day.
He'd be like,
Like
what's
the country
happening?
variety.
I'm very bumpkin positive, actually.
I'd be like,
So bumpkin positive.
They'd be like, I think I broke her.
Always loved
Wait
the
a minute.
bumpkin.
Yeah, no understanding. No.
The word bumpkin is so funny.
And I keep going the loop. I keep going back to the different dog-eared pages. No.
Nothing about pumpkins in here.
Yeah.
Just wait 1 more minute.
Oh,
So funny.
that'd be
Oh,
great.
dear.
Oh.
Well, that should be another challenge. We should all do that once. Like, be in a conversation, be like, "Excuse me, I have to consult." Like, see if
Yeah,
it
bring the
probably
book out.
diffuse.
1 moment. Let me see what I.
Probably
What
diffuse
am I
my
feeling?
situation.
We should all try and bring the word bumpkin into our daily life.
One time while eating our
Bumpkin
food
of apples.
With our
at
food,
a
yeah.
restaurant, and I'm going to ask for a bag of chips. I'm like, I don't see this on the menu, but do you guys have big bags of chips? Because I'm just a country bumpkin who
Just
loves
a
a bag of chips.
I like to go bumpkin on it. I like to go full bumpkin on apple in it.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Book Interrupted. If you'd like to see the video highlights from this episode, please go to our YouTube channel, Book Interrupted. You can also find our videos on www.bookinterrupted.com.
Are you interested in buying this book? Do you want to order the next book so you can read along? Go to www.bookinterrupted.com/shop to see a complete list of our books. And if you haven't tried them yet, our affiliate partners, The Bookshop and Libro.fm, both help support your local bookstore where available. Thanks for taking the time to check in and connect. We'll see you next time on Book Interrupted.
Moments you can look forward to on next week's Book Interrupted.
just to make this podcast, we probably need hundreds of people just to do this.
We'll come up with like a good prize, but also we'll
The
send
ripped
them my
book.
glitter copy.
My son got to the point where he's like, "Can I have this?" And you'd be like, "Yep," and he would just sit there. And
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
So go get it.
Yeah, it sounds like a threat, right? But I wouldn't say that. But like, because we all want to be part of a group.
Demand of me
Yeah.
to become more comfortable with trust.
Always sharing what they have with the
You're like,
people
it's not
around them.
yours.
That's nice.
Book interrupted.
Never forget, every child matters.